Hello to all of you out there. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. And if you are a returning subscriber, you receive an extra kiss from me to you. I'm so excited to have over a couple hundred subscribers at this point, and I know some of you have been with me since the very beginning. So I'm always so grateful to see you guys returning back to me time and time again. If you're new here, my name is Addison Taylor. I'm a tarot reader. I also delve into astrology, not just through my readings, but in separate videos, and just spirituality in general. So if you're interested in getting to know yourself better through tarot card readings, understand your life's purpose, maybe hidden talents that you haven't uncovered, past lives, future relationships, that kind of thing, just understanding yourself on a deeper, more profound soul level, then I encourage you to go ahead and subscribe and join our little family over here. I like to call my subscribers my lovelies. Now, you will notice in the bio of today's video, as I always do, I provide a link to my Etsy shop. This is where I do personal readings, and I have been so overwhelmed with so many clients the past few months. I think a lot of us are going through our spiritual awakening during quarantine, and that has definitely reflected in the sales in my Etsy shop. It's been unbelievable, so beautiful. I will be on a break for the next few weeks just to try and regroup my own energy, the energy of my household, my marriage, my motherhood, arrange everything so that I can be of better service to you all. But feel free to go ahead and check out the shop if you would like, and hopefully I'll see you for some sort of future purchase. Okay, with all that being out of the way, I want to get into today's reading. So today's reading is going to be going over the purpose of a past relationship. It could be current too. You could choose a pile if you're currently in a relationship and want to understand what the purpose of that relationship is. But this is going to be geared a bit more towards like exes, maybe someone that you are separated from currently, a romantic relationship that maybe didn't end the way that you wanted to, and you have been in a spiral over the past several years, several months, several days, whatever it may be, as to what the purpose of this relationship was. If it didn't work out, what was the reason? Did I do something wrong? Did they do something wrong? Was this something predestined before we came into this lifetime? So just a reading that's going to give you a sense of closure and understanding at a soul level what the purpose of this relationship was, and any advice Spirit wants to offer you about how to move forward, or how to shift your perspective, or maybe new bits of information you don't know about things coming in your near future in regards to this relationship or another relationship. It'll cover everything. And as always, I like to be highly specific. I do 6 piles. I very rarely do a pick a card reading where I'm doing less than that, because I do want to be specific and I want the message to be tailored to you all. And I have pulled from, about 20 different decks as usual. So make sure that when you are choosing your pile, which I'll flash a picture up here in a bit, take a few deep breaths before you choose. You don't want to choose based on just which stone looks the prettiest to you. Really take a moment to pause and ask your spiritual team or your higher self which pile has the message that is meant for you. And if you want, you can choose several different piles. Maybe you have a couple of different exes or relationships that you want to understand the purpose in. So if you're drawn to more than one pile, that might be why Spirit may want to talk to you about a couple of different relationships in your past. So feel free to do that. And as always, if the reading is not quite resonating, I would say in the first couple of minutes, that's probably an indicator that you've gravitated towards the wrong pile. So I would go back to that picture and try and clear your mind, meditate for a bit, and choose the appropriate pile for you. Okay, well, I'm going to get out of the way, let you all choose your pile or piles, and I will meet you there. Hello, pile number 1. Welcome to your reading. Go ahead and take a seat, grab a snack and a drink, and get comfy. And let's get into this relationship and what the purpose of it truly is for you in this lifetime. Now, I have the reading kind of broken up into several different sections. I do want to start with a couple of handcrafted divination tools. So these are some postcards, not postcards, flashcards, and I use them a lot in my love readings. I'm going to pull a few of these as well as some love notes. This will kind of give me an idea of the overall energy of the relationship, maybe what you started out feeling for one another, things like that, and then we'll expand with the cards. So let's do some flashcards first. So Spirit, could you please pull a few flashcards for pile 1? Well, we've got 3 right there. Okay, so from the flashcards we have marriage, ascend and transform, as well as nostalgia. Okay, so this could be someone you were previously married to, engaged to. This could be a relationship that was affected somehow by a marriage. Maybe one or the other of you was already committed to somebody else when this relationship started. With nostalgia, this makes me think that this is further in the past, or it could be that your relationship with this person mirrored your parents' marriage, and that's why we have that marriage and nostalgia. And with ascend and transform, I do think that somehow this relationship was about transforming something from your childhood, if that makes sense. So some sort of cycle, or maybe a karmic cycle or pattern within your family that this relationship was meant to somehow mirror, so that you could ascend and transform it and kind of break this ancestral cycle or trauma. But we will see whenever we get into the tarot cards. All right, let's get a few love notes. For those of you who don't know, this is actually my mother's pouch, so it's from the 1970s or earlier. Her and my father were together all through high school, and you know, back in that day there were no cell phones, and so it was very common to write each other notes in between classes, and she had all of their love notes saved in this pouch, and so that's where I got the idea to kind of use it for my readings. Okay, so we have make the first move. You make me feel calm, and I need to get to know you better. Okay, interesting. So it seems that this relationship took a while to kind of get started with that make the first move. I need to get to know you better. I think it took a while for this to turn romantic for some reason, and we'll look at the cards and see why. The you make me feel calm, it's almost like maybe there was a friendship that kind of started before, or there was just an easiness in being around this person, but one or the other of you was hesitant to kind of get the ball rolling on this. So this first tarot card is going to give us kind of the overall energy of this relationship. When I chose these, I asked Spirit if you could summarize the entire relationship with this one card. That's what I want it to represent. Okay, and we have Temperance. So this is Sagittarius energy. So one of you could have Sagittarius prominent in your chart. Sagittarius energy, it really goes well with that ascend and transform flashcard that we had pulled earlier. The Temperance card is about healing. It's about a healing of the emotions. It's healing through divine intervention. You know, angelic energy is in this card. We have the water, and kind of with Sagittarius being about traveling, it is about, yeah, kind of pulling away from something, but it's something more internal. You know, this isn't necessarily travel in a physical sense, though it could have manifested that way, but it's kind of like the purpose of this relationship was to heal something from your past. And I think that you don't even realize, and I think that's why this reading is going to be very good for you all. I don't know if you realize that there is this connection to your childhood, something witnessed in childhood, or something that has to do with your parents that's related to this relationship, and somehow experiencing this relationship was supposed to provide you like a psychological healing or purging of something from your past. Okay, let's look at the tarot cards. So we have Knight of Wands. That's fire energy, so Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Once again, this could have been their energy. Wow, more fire. Ace of Wands, as well as Page of Swords. I feel like this was your energy. So this is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And I feel like the person you were with was this Knight of Wands. Now, Knight of Wands is known for being kind of very fast-paced and quick-moving. He can be kind of hard to catch. He's very flirty, very passionate, very energetic. But, you know, Knight of Wands can be known for being a bit of a player, okay? Because he is very attractive. And this Ace of Wands with the little garter belt over it, as well as with this, see how the page of Swords is known for kind of being an investigator. See how he's got that candle and he's kind of walking through the dark, and it's almost like he's looking for clues, he's looking for information. And I'm just seeing him kind of finding this wand here with the garter belt and thinking, okay, what is this person up to? It feels like you took on the role of an investigator in this relationship. That sounds odd to say, but that's what it feels like. So for some of you, there could have been cheating going on within the relationship, or maybe the two of you were actually cheating on your significant partner. If it's nothing that extreme, then it just feels like you kind of, I don't feel a lot of trust coming from your end. I don't. It's, you were investigating something. That's the word I keep hearing, is investigation, suspicion, investigation, suspicion. You were quite calculated. I want to understand the purpose of that, though. Was it, was it warranted in this situation? Let's look at my astrology cards. So the first one is Venus in Pisces. Venus is all about love, and it says here submission. Venus in Pisces, submission. Okay, then we have the Libra card. Libra is the sign of marriage, which we did have marriage here in our flashcard as well. And any of these could be signs that are in your chart or their chart. So Venus and Pisces, Libra energy. We now have more air energy, Aquarius. Okay, so this definitely confirms this Page of Swords is you. You all are the Libra, Gemini, Aquarius energy here. And then we have Jupiter. Okay, very cool, because Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius. The partner has this Sagittarius fiery energy. So Jupiter is all about expansion, travel, foreigners, foreign language, religion, our spiritual beliefs. It's about college, all of that. So it feels like this. It's interesting. You know what? You all came out of this relationship smarter than when you went in. A heck of a lot smarter. It's this investigative energy you took on. It really expanded your mind. You now notice things that you never would have noticed before this relationship. It made your mind very mentally aware. It activated the intelligence sectors of your brain. And I feel like you did something in this relationship that I think it's connected to your mother. I think there was something your mother didn't do in regards to her marriage. It has to do with a lack of self-empowerment. And you somehow upgraded that or healed it or kind of relinquished this cycle because you did not miss a beat in this relationship. You did not slack off where your mom did in her marriage. Again, something about self-empowerment. You all became very, you were able to come to a point where you could observe things without being emotionally detached to them. Because Aquarius and Libra energy, this air energy and this Page of Swords, this is about what are the facts, what am I observing, what am I seeing? Kind of like when a detective or an officer comes into a crime scene. The officer, the person, if they're good at their job, they're going to be able to take down the notes and the facts of the crime scene without becoming emotionally attached to what's going on, right? Because they're there to just look and analyze the data. That's what you became through this relationship. And it brought some sort of healing to your family. That's what I'm hearing. Some sort of healing to, I think, your mother's side of the family. It could have been both sides of the family, but the role you played in this relationship released your family from a lot of ancestral karma or cycles. So I just want to congratulate you guys there, because Wow, there's such a smart energy coming off of these cards. Okay, I do want to look at the stone you all picked. I should have actually done this first, but I got distracted with my love notes. You all chose the Tiger's Eye stone. And it says, who needs it? The currently overthinking and mood-swinging Geminis and Virgos. And the message on the card is balance your whole being. Okay, so I do think that you all, with this activation and expansion of your mental energy, I do think that you are getting to a point now where maybe you're overthinking some things where there's no more energy or data to gather from it, okay? So you learn, some part of you learned in this relationship to notice things, right? And to gather data and information, emotionally detached from it, and do what needs to be done based on what you're observing. But now there's a part of you that is going back into the past to observe things that have already been observed. There's no new data to gain from it. You're overdoing it in that sense. So instead, look towards the present or even the future, I think would be better than kind of going into the past. It's almost like you're trying to find new things in the past where there's really nothing new to be found. You've done what you were supposed to do. So now it's time to kind of practice that emotional detachment and move forward. Okay, so from I think this is the Angel, what is this called? The Romance Angels deck. We have Soulmate. It says, yes, this is your soulmate. Oh my goodness. I may get some clarifiers on that just to clarify the message and make it more specific. So I don't know if you all have, you may still be in your relationship with this person. You know, you may be married to this person. Some of you are separated but are meant to come back together at some point in the future, okay? But I do want to clarify that just to make sure. So we'll go through the rest of the cards and see. Okay, we have the Good Lord. This is reminding me of, notice how the Knight of Wands, this is a fast-moving sort of energy, right? And the Page of Swords, it's very investigative. It moves slowly, carefully. Both feet are on the ground. It's a more grounded energy, and this is you all. This is what this card's making me think, because notice the woman here, she is sitting, you know, maybe she's reaching towards him because she wants to talk or communicate. She feels more grounded. And then we have the Good Lord, or the gentleman over here, who looks like he's on the move, you know, and doesn't want to be bothered or distracted. So I do feel like you are the more grounded energy in this relationship. And I think that if you're still in this relationship and it's going well, okay, then my message is to be patient, because this fiery energy from your partner is very fast moving. And I am feeling that this person is going to be completely different in 5 to 10 years from now. They are going through a stage of maturing, okay? So they're becoming more mature. But in order to reach that sort of more mature state, there's a lot of activities and things and travels and exploration and study that they need to do kind of on their own. So this person does need a little bit more independence than maybe you would feel comfortable with, I guess. So if the relationship has ended, at this point, then I think that the relationship will come back together once this person has been able to fully mature, okay? Because right now it's like you're kind of up here maturity-wise, and they're kind of down here and just kind of want to go out and explore and do, but I do feel they'll come back. Okay, so, oh, you guys got Elizabeth Taylor. And it says, you can be a big fan of marriage. Again, we have marriage. With the marriage and soulmate, I think you guys will get married. Some of you it'll be in the future. Some of you, it could be that you're already married. You can be a big fan of marriage. Just be an even bigger fan of diamonds. Beautiful. I love Liz Taylor. So what this is telling me is that part of this relationship for you is about raising your standards and demanding more, because there's an issue with self-empowerment on your mother's side of the family where she didn't do that for herself. And so you are meant to, it's like, yes, you can be a fan of marriage. It feels great maybe to be able to say that you are married, but what are you really receiving from that marriage? Are you being respected? Are you being valued? Are you being treasured? Is the person you're with even capable of marriage or being a good partner? And if they're not, if you're really not gaining anything other than being able to say I'm married, or I'm with somebody, I'm not single, if you're not gaining anything, then it's time to pull out. A lot of times when we do set those boundaries and we raise our standards, the other person is actually able to change and ascend and transform their own, immature sort of energy. But you have to be the first one to kind of do this, set this boundary, set this standard. And I do feel like that's why your mental activity has been expanded. It's so you can observe and collect the data and then actually do something with it. Say, I don't deserve this, or this needs to be better, or you know what, let's stay in touch. Maybe we can reconnect in a few years. Like you really need some maturing, or whatever it is. So being able to focus on what are you gaining emotionally and mentally through this partnership, or is it draining you? And if it's draining you, then you've got to love yourself enough to pull back. And so that's kind of another message to the energy of this relationship. And I do feel for a lot of you that you come from a divorced household where mom didn't have a lot of power. Maybe she didn't work. Maybe she had to rely on dad. And she didn't demand higher standards of him. And I do feel like that eventually caused the relationship to sever and end and deteriorate over time. Or at least what I'm hearing is, if mom would have been able to strengthen herself enough, believe in herself enough to set those boundaries and standards, I think it would have saved the marriage, because dad would have had the wake-up call that he needed. The problem was she wasn't consistent with it. She would set that standard. It would kind of scare him. So he'd wake up, he'd be really good, for a couple of months, and then slowly fall back into the same pattern. And then she was just exhausted or didn't think it was worth it, something like that. And that's kind of the point of this whole relationship that you're in. Even though your parents' marriage has nothing to do with you, I do think that sometimes we come down here to help our family and our ancestral line evolve. And that's what the purpose of this was for. All right, so we have the Messiah card. And I do want to read this from the book because it's a little bit more detailed with the meaning and the message. Okay, so the Messiah card is also known as Redeemer and Savior, associated with embodiment of divine power and a mission to save humanity, tends to become obsessed with spiritual purpose, convinced that God needs him or her to do something. That's very Sagittarius. The shadow side of the Messiah card is convinced of his divine mission and becomes obsessed to the point of psychosis. Look for a long-term desire to save people, especially in large numbers, with the possibility of self-delusion in this regard. Interesting. So this reminds me of what I was speaking on just prior to looking at this card, about the fact that you came here, had this relationship in order to work out something in regards to your ancestors, which is that's a Messiah type of move, right? You're doing something on the behalf of a large number of people. But with that sort of energy, this energy of kind of operating within something that's way bigger than yourself, it can lead to overanalyzation, where it just gets so heightened that you're now in a state of psychosis where you're not actually thinking clearly. It's like everything has become so clouded. The mission is forgotten, or the wrong data and information is being pulled from and used. And that's what Spirit just wants you to be careful of that. I think a lot of times in this relationship, you have been good about standing up for yourself and trying to set those boundaries, but from the wrong data, where maybe you've come to conclusions about something that weren't really there, or you're overanalyzing something. And then whenever you're expressing this to your partner, there may be explosions of anger and outbursts, to where everything kind of gets a little bit outside of you and outside of your control. And Spirit wants you to know that they are observing you. They're very proud of what you've taken on, because this truly, I'm literally getting the image of a heavy backpack filled with other people's things, not even your items, that you are lugging around. That's literally who you are for the sake of your family. So Spirit wants to acknowledge the work that you're doing, that they are proud of you for choosing to take this on. I don't think, if you have other siblings, I don't think they chose to take this particular baggage on. You did that. So that's amazing. But also try and be a little bit more careful. Try and emotionally detach and really act in a way that's in accordance with your beliefs. Okay. All right, we only have a couple more cards here. So first is the flower that represents this relationship. We have the pink rose. It says grace and sweetness. Okay, that fits perfectly with what I was just saying. Operate from a place of grace and sweetness with everything you're observing, with the boundaries that you're setting, all of that. Okay, the quote here says, "The pursuit of perfection, then, is the pursuit of sweetness and light." And I do feel you all are aiming for perfection. But I think that perfection in your subconscious sometimes gets confused or associated with like coldness and harshness and intimidation in order to reach that perfection. This card is a reminder that you should pursue perfection in your life through sweetness, through grace, through light. Do what you need to do, but you don't have to do it in a harsh or dramatic way. All right, the animal message for you is the hippopotamus. It says, friends stand close by to shield you from life's adversities. So I think that some of you have actually broken up with this person. And if that's the case, I do think you guys are meant to come back together. I'm going to clarify that because we did have the soulmate card. So Spirit, this soulmate card, could you please clarify that? Is this Knight of Wands? Too many flipped over. Who they are meant to be with. You all may have that Sagittarius energy too in your chart. Okay, too much is coming. I just want one card. Okay. Okay, so we have Three of Pentacles, Nine of Swords, Two of Pentacles, and King of Swords. And you are this air energy, okay? So you are going to be moving up from a Page of Swords to a King of Swords. All right, so for some of you, you actually could go to school with this person or work with them or like still have to see them somehow on a regular basis, even through this separation. Maybe it's just online, but it feels like you guys are at least connected through work colleagues, like you guys have mutual friends or something. So they're kind of always, it almost feels like you can't get away from them, even whenever you really just want to be able to pull away and grieve. This is for those of you who are separated, wondering if this person is meant to come back into your life. But I do see ultimately with the Two of Pentacles and with the King of Swords, this is going to be a choice, and the choice is going to be from your end, okay? I see that this person is going to come back or want to come back into your life, but the choice is going to be in your hands. And because you are working through this ancestral karma of female self-empowerment, Spirit in order to be successful at that, when this man, or sorry, not man, it could be a woman as well, when this person returns to you, you really need to analyze. Have they matured enough? Are they ready? Because this person may try and return before they are really matured enough and ready to take this on. In which case, you're supposed to say, no, I'm sorry, I can tell you're not. We're at different levels. This person will continue coming back, okay? That's what I see with this Two of Pentacles. You are not supposed to say yes until you know it's the right time based on who this person is now, who have they become, have they matured, can they truly give you what you need in a relationship, okay? So Spirit's basically handing the power over to you, and it's your job to use it correctly. That's how you're going to banish this karma from your family and your ancestry. Spirit's going to give you this power, and you are supposed to self-empower by using it correctly, okay? So I do see this person will come back, and the only way that this won't work out is if you say yes at the wrong time. If you say yes still knowing that they're not quite ready. because this person isn't going to be able to realize that they're not ready. If you say yes before you know this person is ready, then it will sabotage this. But if you continue saying no and distancing yourself until you truly know that they're on the same page as you, then this could be the marriage of a lifetime. All right. You will always be, with this soulmate card, you're always going to feel a very deep connection with this person. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you are supposed to act on it. Act on that connection. Only if they are proving themselves to you. All right. Okay, if you guys have any questions, let me know down below in the comments. I love corresponding with you guys down there. It really warms my heart. I love getting details, more details on what's going on in the relationship. And I will be thinking of you all, because for those of you going through a breakup with a soulmate, someone you're connected to at a soul level, that is extremely painful, extremely hard. But I know you guys are strong. I keep getting that image of that huge, heavy backpack that you guys are lugging around with other people's crap in it. So you can handle it. You can take it on. That's what you were meant to do, okay? All right. I love you guys, and I will see you next time. Hi, pile number 2, and welcome to your reading. Go ahead and take a seat, get comfortable, grab a snack and a drink, and let's get into this relationship and what the purpose of this relationship was in your life, so that maybe you can get a deeper understanding, some closure, whatever you need in order to move forward, maybe some advice from Spirit as well. So I do want to start the reading with some self-made divination tools. These are flashcards that I often use in my love readings, and this is a vintage pouch that used to contain my parents' love notes, but I have handwritten some of my own little love notes, and it'll give me an idea of kind of where this relationship has, started off or began. You all chose this beautiful stone here, and this is chrysoprase. I have never heard of that. Gorgeous color though. Who needs it? Explorers searching for the fountain of youth. And it says here, kind of the message of the card is, grow from your heart out. Beautiful. Okay, let's get a few flashcards. Spirit, can you pull a few flashcards for group 2, pile 2? That's a little bit too, it's like 10. Just a couple, Spirit. There we go. Any more? This one's calling to me, and that one. Okay. Okay, red flags. Uncover the truth. And conversation. All right. Let's look at the love notes. Okay, slide into my DMs. You're so smart. And we have the same goals. Okay, so for a lot of you, I feel like this relationship initiated online. Even if you didn't meet this person online, the beginnings of the relationship started online or via technology somehow. So maybe this is this feels like a more recent sort of connection. So you could still be kind of talking to this person. So you're wanting to know if you're meant to move forward in this, or this doesn't feel like it goes too far back into the past. And definitely, I feel like you do see some little red flags or things that concern you, but you haven't yet gotten the courage to be forward about this and uncover the truth and have this sort of conversation. You feel a little bit guarded, which I think is why you chose the stone that you did, which says grow from your heart out. You feel very concerned with kind of protecting and shielding your heart. But I think that sometimes because you want to keep your heart shielded from pain and protected, you purposefully don't open up about things or don't ask questions where you know you might get an answer you don't want to hear because, ouch, that could hurt. So it's interesting because your goal is to protect your heart, but because you sometimes express it in this overprotective way, you could end up hurting yourself even more down the line. But let's get into the tarot and see what they have to say. Now, I pulled only one card for each pile from this deck and asked Spirit, if you had to sum up this relationship with one single card, what would it be? And you all have the King of Wands. So you guys could both be fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. King of Wands, this is someone who really loves to, very goal-oriented, which makes sense with we have the same goals. This is entrepreneurial sort of energy. This is socialite sort of energy, someone who really likes to have a lot of fun and set goals and achieve them, like go-getters, very charismatic, lots of friends. So that kind of, I guess, is supposed to sum up the energy for the whole relationship. So the relationship feels fun. It feels lighthearted, but passionate at the same time. And you guys the attraction for one another began because you both have this sort of fiery energy that you take on. And so you recognize that within the other, you have the same sort of goals. You present yourself the same way in public. You have similar sort of friends, that kind of thing. And this could actually, I'm going to hold off from saying what I'm thinking right now until I see more cards. So let's get into the other tarot. This is the Romantic Tarot. And we have King of Cups. So that's water energy. So Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. We have Four of Wands. Beautiful. Look, they're getting married and coming out of their chapel. And then we have King of Swords. Okay, lots of king energy. We have everything but the King of Pentacles here. Okay, with the King of Swords, okay, this is air energy, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. And this is all about our mentality, conversations, okay? This is about using our intelligence through our words, through our actions, like soaking in all of the information needed and then being smart and emotionally detached about it, all right? So I do feel here with the King of Cups and the Four of Wands energy, there is something guarded about this King of Cups energy to me, even though King of Cups doesn't usually represent that. It could be Pisces energy, but there's something guarded here about this person. In fact, I feel like this person, I feel like this is the partner, may have some very strong beliefs about marriage. I feel like this King of Cups is actually anti-marriage and has probably told you that. But I don't feel like you are. I feel like that's where this red flag sort of energy is coming from. They feel like they've been burned, and it feels like they've been burned in the past too, which made them kind of block off their own heart. You guys both do that. You're both similar in that way. This makes me think of like twin flame sort of energy, which is what I was holding off from saying earlier. You both, in an effort to protect your heart and keep it from pain, you end up hurting it more, like indirectly, or yeah, things get built up and put off or blocked out of your life for the sake of, I don't want to feel that pain. So it feels like that's what this King of Cups did. He may have been divorced in the past or just really burned in the past, and so he or she is just straight up anti-marriage, anti-living together, it feels like something extreme though. But because it's interesting because you see these sort of red flags, but because you understand this person, because they're like you feel like you should let it slide. This is very interesting. Very interesting. Let me get into the rest of the cards because I want to understand what you're meant to do with this, because I do feel like a twin flame sort of energy here. You guys are like cut from the same cloth. But because you guys both have a lot to work through, I'm wondering where this is meant to head. So let's look at the astrological cards. Okay, we have Neptune. Neptune rules Pisces, and Neptune is all about like fantasy, but also illusion and kind of like merging with everything, losing yourself in the process. Okay, and then we have Sagittarius. So Sagittarius may be prominent in either one of your charts, which King of Wands, that's fiery Sagittarius sort of energy. But, you know, Sagittarius is all about the truth. Sagittarius seeks the truth at all costs, which we have here. Uncover the truth. I feel like both of you need to do a lot more talking and communicating than you do. And the reason you don't is because you're guarded. But that is causing both of you a lot of issues in the long term. The ball just keeps rolling, and by the time you decide you want to stop the rolling ball, it has rolled and collected so much dirt or whatever that it's 10 times bigger than it was when it started rolling. Like if you would have stopped it then, everything would have been fine, but you almost wait until it's just unavoidable. And so you're supposed to, this relationship is supposed to teach you to break through the illusions and the fantasy of what love is. You know, love is not what you see in movies. Love is not never fighting with someone. Love is not never communicating or shoving anything that you dislike about the person under the rug so that you can live in this sort of fantasy. That's not love. Love is rooted in truth, in opening up and being vulnerable and having important conversations and making big decisions and being on the same page with someone. So that's what this relationship was meant to teach you. And this person is a mirror to you. The things this person deals with, they don't handle it exactly the way that you do. They maybe don't take the same route to get to the destination, but you guys are both headed to the same destination. And so this person was supposed to be kind of like a mirror to your own soul and your own struggles and your own faults, that kind of thing, okay? Which is going to ultimately bring you a lot of spiritual insight, deep soul expansion with that Sagittarius and Neptune card. Okay, we have Mars in Leo, and it says egotism. Okay, interesting. So this compulsion to kind of protect your heart is rooted in the ego. And that is because our ego is here to protect us. That's the whole purpose of the ego. It's to protect us from pain, protect us from death, protect us from all of these things. If it wasn't for our ego, we wouldn't be scared of death at all, because we would be connected solely to our soul. And our soul's not scared of death because our soul understands that, you know, well, we still go on living even though our body dies, and, you know, we live several lifetimes, so no big deal, right? So the ego keeps us protected in that sense. It keeps us alerted to danger and all of this. So, but sometimes the ego can perceive something as danger that's actually not, or perceive the wrong thing as dangerous when it's not. Kind of like how in nature, you know, a snake can camouflage itself as, I don't know, it can camouflage itself into the ground, right? Let's say it's a really poisonous snake, and so the animal doesn't see it. The animal looks at the snake and thinks, oh, it's the dirt, nothing to be scared of, and then now it's dead. Versus the opposite, where we have snakes who aren't actually poisonous, but are colored to look like a poisonous snake, and so then the animal sees it and is in huge fear of this poisonous snake when it's not actually poisonous at all. That's how the ego can trick us, or other things can trick our ego. So this fear that you have over protecting and guarding your heart and all these things, that's actually hurting you. Your ego thinks it's helping you, but it's not. So maybe just knowing that and recognizing that will help you push through and make some changes when it comes to how you're dealing with your heart and your love life. Okay, the last astrological card we have is Gemini, which I thought, no, that's not on your card. Okay, so that can be prominent in your chart, but you know, Gemini is the twin flame card in tarot. So this is strong. Look, they're twins. This is you and that person. You guys are mirrors of one another. This is definitely twin flame energy. Absolutely. Now, that doesn't mean you guys are meant to be together forever in this lifetime. I'll have to work through the rest of the cards to determine if that's the case. But, you know, twin flame energy is about coming into contact with your mirror at a point in your life where you're not fully healed, so that you guys can each, through your relationship, kind of suck a bit of the poison out of one another. Release it. Okay? All right, we have the Damsel. And I am going to look at the book for this one. It says, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Always beautiful, vulnerable, and in need of rescue, specifically by a knight. must become empowered and learn to take care of herself. Princess is associated with romance, not distress. The shadow side of the damsel accepts that women are weak and need protection. It says here, examine your young girl fantasies, Neptune, and expectations for a mate. Examine your young girl fantasies and expectations for a mate. Were you awaiting the arrival of your knight in shining armor, hoping to be rescued and disappointed that your expectations weren't met? I love this reading, you guys. This is incredible. Okay, so what that card is saying is kind of what I was touching on before, that you have the wrong idea of what love is supposed to be. Not only that, but the things you hated about this person or disliked or struggled with about this person are actually traits that you have. So this whole relationship was about healing your ego, okay? By confronting your ego with its own ego and getting you to accept who and what you are fully and being okay with that, all right? And also along with that, once you heal that part of your ego that maybe has a hard time admitting that, yes, I hated that this person was controlling, but I'm also controlling. And I hated that this person was closed-minded, but I'm also closed-minded. Once you get to this point where you're actually able to admit and own that you are exactly the same things that you dislike about this person, that is going to open up your mind to relationships overall. Because if you can own and accept all of your faults and weaknesses and still know that you do want to be married and you do deserve to be married, then you're going to be able to approach your relationships with others from the same aspect. Yes, this person isn't perfect. Yes, this kind of irritates me, but you know what? I've got a whole checklist of things I've now realized and owned about myself that aren't perfect either. As long as this person is still being respectful of me and is at least willing to work through issues and shows that they value me, yeah, I don't really care like what sort of clothes they wear or what kind of car they drive or, whether or not they struggle with anxiety or whatever the case may be. That is, for you guys that chose this pile, that is the case scenario that you are in. That's what this relationship is meant to do for you. So really examine the things you dislike or struggle with in regards to this person. And examine yourself. And if you are that way, that's okay. Just own it. It's fine. Everyone has their things. And you're going to feel so liberated once you do that. And you're going to have a more accurate idea of what love truly is, okay? All right, from the Love Oracles deck, we have Albert Einstein. Well, you guys got a good one. It says, the distance between two objects is always relative. Oh my God, that is so perfect. So perfect. Aligns perfectly with what I was saying. The distance between two objects is always relative. I think you guys view yourself and this other person, I think you view you guys as opposites. I feel like the way you would have talked about this person to other people is, especially in the beginning, I'm so attracted to them, like they're so opposite of me. And therefore, when this person does things that you don't like, you perceive it as, gosh, I can't believe they're this way or that way. That is so the opposite of me. And what the Albert Einstein card is here to tell you is, actually, it's not. You're perceiving it that way. But God specifically put this person into your life to show you exactly what you are. And I'm feeling like it's more of the negative aspects, okay? More of the things that you've tried to suppress, like your shadow side, things you wanted to hide or reject within yourself. This person was put into your life to help be a mirror to that so that you could heal it and gain true freedom and liberation in your life and move forward with more structure and stability and understanding. Okay, we have the Good Lady. This is you. Look at that. You know what I'm getting from this card is just this woman who wants to be a good person. And you guys are good people, okay? But your idea of what a good person is contained within an illusion right now, to where you believe that by admitting that you have some faults or some negative things, by accepting those, that would make you a bad person. And a lot of this is done subconsciously, okay? So it'll take a bit to work through it. So therefore, what you've done is, when you see things in other people that you don't like, okay, that is first of all an admission to our shadow self. I need to do a whole other video on this to explain it, but anything you dislike about another person is something you've repressed within yourself. And if you haven't accepted that part of yourself yet, then you're going to feel anger or disgust or whatever when you see other people expressing these certain personality traits or characteristics. And so for you guys, the good lady, because you believe that you have to be perfect to be a good person, or there's certain, I don't know, like criteria or whatever that you have to follow, you have a hard time, your ego then gets supercharged to step in the way anytime a thought of something comes into your head of like anything that could be perceived as negative or less than. It's like you can't accept it because it would hurt too bad, because then you would feel like you failed your responsibility to be a good person. And this is subconscious again. So your subconscious and your ego kind of blocks it so that you can still think that you are a good person. When in reality, good people all have their own faults too, and it's okay to admit those things, and actually admitting and accepting those things makes us a way better person than being someone who has masked and blocked ourselves off and put ourselves in a sort of state of illusion. And the same thing goes for how we perceive other people. I think people that you really love and you care about, you put them under this illusion as well. You do the same thing for them to where you can't even see their faults. Your subconscious, your ego blocks it off because it wants to protect you. It wants to allow you. It's all about this definition that you guys have about what a good person is. If you love someone and you think they're a good person, you think that has to equate to they have zero faults. And therefore, if they express a fault and show it, it might really set you off. And you might show it in anger, but if you do, it's because you are now, your ego, your subconscious is now terrified of losing this person, terrified of losing this beautiful illusion you have of them, that they are perfect and everything and all things. And, you know, it freaks you out. So I feel like there is anxiety attached to all of this as well. And this relationship was meant to release you from all of that. If I were you guys, a good activity you should do is get a journal and write out a list of everything you don't like. What do you, in regards to people, okay? So do you dislike people that brag about themselves? Write it down. I hate it whenever people brag about themselves. I hate it when people wear super bright colors, you know, where they look so noticeable. I hate it when people show off. I hate it when people, whatever it is, write it down and just get it all out. Don't overthink it. And then actually look at that list, acknowledging that these are aspects of your shadow that you have to own. That the reason you hate people who brag about themselves is because you have a shadow side that likes to brag about themselves. But because you have decided not to own that part of yourself and to instead suppress it, you get triggered when you see other people openly bragging about themselves. You know why? Because you're subconsciously, you look at that person and think, how dare you think that you have the right to brag about yourself? You know, because the parts of me that want to brag about myself, I have been responsible enough to suppress that and make sure it never comes out. So what makes you think you have the right to just forego that difficult suppression and just openly just brag? That's kind of the best analogy I can give, but that's essentially what it is. The things that you hate about other people are aspects of you that you are subconsciously aware of but have chosen to do the tough work of suppressing it, you know, for the sake of humanity or for the sake of yourself. But once you understand that this is what you're doing, and you can actually own that all these things you hate and dislike are parts of you, I don't know, there's such freedom, such liberation in this, and it's hard to explain without actually experiencing it. It's like a lot of anger and a lot of triggers and a lot of irritants. Suddenly, they just melt away. It's a really beautiful, freeing experience that I recommend that you guys do and try out. And give me your list. I'd love to know what you hate, you know, what you can't stand when you see other people doing it. And if you don't want to do a list, just kind of take notice. When someone does something that bugs you, make a promise to yourself that you're going to take a moment to kind of pause and notice that and reflect on, okay, how is this integrated into my shadow? What does this mean about me and my shadow that I'm not liking what I'm seeing over there, that I don't like this particular person? And you'll get to know yourself on such a deep, deep level, okay? So it's shadow work. All right, so from the Romance Angels deck, we have separation. It says time apart from your partner is on the horizon. I feel like you all have been separated from this person because, I don't know, that's just the energy I've gotten this whole reading, that you guys had this sort of falling out. I think you feel obligated somehow to be with this person for some reason. Maybe you all have kids together, or maybe you're married and going through a divorce or considering divorce. You feel obligated and resentful. I don't think you have to be with this person. This person is your twin flame, okay? But that doesn't mean you need to be with this person in this lifetime. The purpose of him or her coming in was for shadow work. It was to show you your own mirror so that you could do this shadow work and free yourself. So, but it's like part of me feels like this good lady vibe that you guys have makes you feel like you have to. Part of you is like, well, I feel like I have to. Maybe because of how society views breakups, or maybe because this is the first person you've ever done anything with, like gone all the way with. So you feel like to be this good person, you have to just stick it out. Spirit wants you to liberate yourself from that and recognize that the true purpose of this was for shadow work, okay? So the animal you all have is the hare. We just got one more card after this one. It says discernment before a passionate encounter leads to the magic of love. Because of this Neptune energy and this shadow work that hasn't been done, that really, really needs to be done, it does lead you to falling for people very quickly, because you put this illusion over them and everything seems so perfect, and in your head you've imagined kind of this perfect outcome. So you act too quickly with people. And because you have this illusion around them, you end up being very hurt and very disappointed as soon as they show any sign of imperfection, or as soon as they indicate that maybe they're not as interested in you as you were in them, okay? So Spirit really wants you in your love life to practice discernment, really make smart choices in love. And if you do see yourself kind of putting an illusion on someone, recognize this is a trait of yours, that you do this, but it doesn't mean you need to believe it or act on it. And try and move forward more slowly, okay? Now the flower that represents this relationship is the hyacinth. It says playfulness. The quote is, play is the royal road to childhood happiness and adult brilliance. Beautiful. I think a lot of you have children that chose this pile. I think this may be your baby daddy or something of the sort like that. And I think Spirit really wants you to just put all of your energy right now into your shadow work that was brought up here, so that you can finally kind of close up this cycle and graduate to the next step. So shadow work and your own kids, or if you don't have kids, your own inner child. I don't feel like you guys need to be putting a lot of energy right now into the other, into partnership, all right? You'll get to that phase soon if you can work through this cycle. So dedicate time to the children in your life, your pets and animals, your own inner child, okay? So expressing that, and then this really heavy shadow work. And then you'll get to your kind of ultimate partnership sometime soon after that, okay? So just that's kind of what the stage you're in is for. And yeah, so and release some of the guilt. You guys have a lot of guilt on your hearts. Your standards for yourself are kind of impossible, and therefore it makes your standards for others sometimes a bit impossible. And the world is going to start looking like a challenge you can actually accomplish and take on and master once you realize that, okay? So I'm sending you guys lots of love, lots of thoughts and prayers. I know this is a really heavy energy. You know, I was in this phase last year, I guess a year and a half ago, and it was really tough to admit some things about myself and understand why I dislike certain things that I dislike, and that it's actually a part of me, and what does that mean? But afterwards, my goodness, you guys are going to feel a huge weight lifted off of your shoulders. So just push through, be brave, okay? And recognize when your ego is overreacting to something that isn't dangerous, you know, that's not going to kill you. And that will help calm you down through this process. Leave me a comment below if you would like. I love talking to you guys down in the comments. I always respond. I'd love more details on what's going on, explanation, all of that. And I will see you all in the next reading. Love you guys. Bye. Hello, pile number 3. Welcome to your reading. You all chose this beautiful kunzite stone, and it says here, open up your love channel. So perfect for a love reading. And these are jumper cards that I just shuffled and they flew out. It says, who needs it? Anyone with a heavy heart about something and collectors of good vibration. So we'll see how this plays into your reading as we go through. So I wanted to start your reading with a couple of self-made divination tools. These are some flashcards that I use in my love readings. And in here, in this little vintage pouch of my mother's, I have some handwritten love notes. Okay, so let's pull a couple of those first and then we'll get into the tarot and the rest of the cards. So Spirit, can you pull a couple of, ooh, those flew out. Okay. Okay, so we have sabotage, move, mask, and it's over, it's done. So that, along with that kunzite, makes me think a lot of you are in the heavy throes of some sort of breakup or heartache, and my heart really goes out to you all. That is, I think that heartbreak, in my experience, is more painful than the death of a loved one. Because with the death of a loved one, you feel like it's out of their control, like there's sadness for the loss. But with heartache, there's sadness for the loss coupled with, but it didn't have to turn out this way. It didn't have to be that way. And that person's still out there, you know? So I don't know. I find it much more painful. Let's see how this relationship kind of started out with some love notes. Oh, there. The cards and stuff are really flying out at this pile. There's a lot more energy in this pile than in the other ones. Okay, so we have, yes, I am flirting. You smell amazing. I love your hair. And then we have, I don't know what I want, and I'm heartbroken. And yeah, I definitely feel that you're going through a heartache. It feels like this relationship started off very passionate, like a lot of physical attraction between the two of you. I do think things moved kind of quickly. There is almost like this intoxicating energy that I'm getting here. I feel intoxicated. Almost like this relationship was like a drug, kind of, just very intense. Okay, so we'll see what the tarot cards have to say, and maybe I'll get more imagery from all of this, and so we can understand the purpose. So when I shuffled these cards, I asked Spirit, this is a tarot deck, and I said, Spirit, if you had to sum up this entire relationship with one card, what would it be? That's what I wanted this to represent. Oh, wow. We have the Devil card. Okay, this explains that intoxicated energy. There could have been a heavy party lifestyle that even went on in this relationship, or you may have lost this person to drugs, or that may have, some sort of drug may have been the connector for the two of you, something you indulged in together that, yeah, if not, then the relationship itself feels intoxicating. And I've never said that before in a reading, but I feel completely intoxicated by this. So no wonder it was such a tempting, it's like you guys were each other's temptations. It feels very intense. Okay, so we have Three of Wands. We have the Strength card. This is Leo energy. So you all could be Leos, or your partner could be, as well as the Knight of Swords. Ooh, wow. Okay. This relationship may have at some point been an open relationship, or like polyamorous maybe is something that you guys practiced or were into, or it almost feels like you guys, there was a part of you guys that really enjoyed setting each other off. Like even if it wasn't an open relationship, maybe the status wasn't set. Okay, so you guys didn't ever like really commit to each other, but it feels like you guys enjoyed setting each other off. Like maybe you would go to a party and you would go ahead and be a little flirty and let the guys kind of flirt because you knew it was going to enrage him, and then this big sort of bar fight would ensue, but then you kind of enjoyed it, and then maybe on the ride home he'd be like screaming and freaking out at you, like, how dare you go off and flirt, but then there'd be like this heavy makeup sex that you guys both enjoyed. It's like you guys enjoyed some sort of like, you guys enjoyed the anger and the struggle as much as you enjoyed the loving sort of moments, okay? I'm getting a lot of interesting imagery from this relationship. You feel very beautiful. I will say that. You feel very beautiful. And you really know how to flirt. You know how to catch a person's attention. But I do feel like there may have been this sort of unfaithfulness on both sides of this relationship, but almost like it was allowed. It was almost like unfaithfulness for the purpose of the passion it would bring into the relationship, because you guys enjoyed these heated, sort of passionate, combative moments. So it wasn't like you were truly interested in other people. You guys just both enjoyed that when you instigated something with other people, it would bring this sort of intoxicated energy between the two of you. Let's look at the astrological cards. So we have Scorpio. So you guys could be Scorpios, but Scorpio rules the 8th house, and which is about deep, entrenched intimacy and revenge, and ooh, that really feels like this relationship. Then we have Taurus, which is the opposite of Scorpio. Taurus is very sensual and sexual though too. Taurus and Scorpio are very sexual energies. Wow. And then we have Venus, which is the planet of love and relationships. All right. And then we have Mercury and Gemini, and it says excitement. Excitement is the perfect word for this relationship. It's so interesting. It's like you guys would go back and forth between these moments of kind of deep commitment to one another, like, yes, we're going to die together, and if you die, then I die, and that kind of thing, like deep commitment. But then this sort of scorpionic energy of like getting revenge on one another for things, or transforming the relationship through different endings. Maybe you're the type that it was like constantly break up, get back together. You would almost like break up because you knew that a breakup would result in the getting back together, if that makes sense. Messy, 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 messy. You guys comment below. I want to know more about this. I'm getting some really great imagery here, but this feels like a messy relationship, I must say. Very passionate, fun for a while, sure, but my goodness, I'm surprised you both came out of this alive. All right, so we have the Martyr card, and I am going to read the meaning from the book on these. It says, has the courage of one's convictions, going so far as to die for a cause. Yes, that I bet you anything. Okay, this is what I'm hearing or getting. This is the funnest love reading I've done in a long time, I've got to say. I know you guys are in a lot of pain right now, but seriously, this could be a movie. This could be a book. I could see this relationship as like the parents maybe being against you being with this person. And so, but that only made you want it more. The fact that mom or dad doesn't approve, well, you're going to show them that there is nothing they can do to pull you away from this person. Like, I'm skipping class if you won't let me be with them. I'm never talking to you again, like dying for the cause of the relationship. It says, suffers that others may be redeemed either spiritually or politically. I could... yeah, it would be like, let's say you guys get arrested. This reading is going so, I feel like it's very exaggerated. And sometimes spirit shows me really exaggerated energy just to get the point across. So this may not apply tangibly to what I'm saying. Think of it symbolically, okay, if this isn't you. But this would be like, let's say you guys get pulled over by the cops, and let's say the partner is the one that was speeding. Okay, let's say they were speeding. The partner's the one that's speeding, but you know that the partner already has a warrant for something else. Okay, so as soon as the car pulls over, before the cops come up, you're like, switch. I'll get in the driver's seat and I'll take the ticket or whatever to protect. That's the kind of stuff you guys would do, where like you could possibly end up in jail, spending a night in jail, because you wanted to save this person, and vice versa. Or maybe it didn't go vice versa. It feels like you really put yourself on the line a lot for the cause of this relationship. The shadow side of the martyr utilizes a combination of service and suffering for others as a means of controlling and manipulating them, related to the victim. Yeah, so these things, this is very Scorpio-like, but you could kind of throw that in their face. Like, well, you better do this for me because I have this secret on your back. Like, I could go to the cops and admit this, that, or the other, or tell them about this, that, or the other. So how dare you do this to me when I've done X, Y, and Z for you? That is the dynamic here. It says, look for a pattern of giving yourself to causes for the betterment of others, regardless of the consequences. How many times did you take the fall for this person? How many events in your friends and family's lives did you miss out on for the sake of this person? This feels like this person represents like a drug to me. They feel like a drug. This is so interesting. I really would love more details from you guys if you could leave me some comments below. Okay, let's look at the other cards. So we have George Michael. It says, pay no heed to careless whispers, which is exactly what you guys did. Absolutely. I'm still curious what the purpose of this is, you guys. In the other readings, by this point, we had already kind of had a reason why the two had come together. I don't have that here, so I may pull some tarot cards to clarify after I quickly get through the rest of these cards. Okay, we have short illness. So yeah, that's like one of you, I feel like it was the partner was dealing with something, whether it was like jail time or a literal illness, something where you chose to actually sabotage your own self for the sake of being there for them. And then we have, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. I think some of you wonder if all relationships are like this one. And if that's the case, no, they're not. I think that some of you also, it's interesting because, yeah, the best analogy I can give is like a drug, okay? So obviously nothing can make us feel like meth, okay, makes us feel. I'm not saying that from experience, just from what I've studied. So yeah, that's what this feels like, where it's like you're aware that other relationships aren't like this. What you're worried about is, can I keep myself from being in relationships like this? Because the intoxication of it, I'm addicted to it. Can I truly get sober and sober up and operate in a healthy relationship? And yes, you guys are capable of that. It's a healthy relationship isn't going to feel intoxicating, isn't going to cause addiction, but it's going to be immensely more enjoyable in other ways, in like a steadier way. Okay, the flower that represents your relationship is the dahlia. It says dignity. The quote here is from Confucius, and it says, a wise man has dignity without pride. A fool has pride without dignity. And I think you guys know exactly what that means. You really allowed yourself to operate without dignity in the entirety of the relationship. Not just you, both of you. Both of you did that. It almost feels like Amy Winehouse and Blake Fielder. If you guys don't know who that couple is, look them up. Watch some videos on their romance because, and again, maybe this is an exaggeration and Spirit's just showing me this so I can get the message across. But very, very toxic. But why? Why did you guys come together? Okay, the animal card you have is the octopus, and it says, travel across Earth and over sea to securely embrace your dream. Ah, I think you guys met this person in your small town, or I think you guys, I understand now. You guys needed this relationship because you were so bored with your life. I think you guys have not forced yourself out of where you came from or forced yourself to achieve and excel in your interest. I think there is a lack of, you feel insecure, like, well, I have these dreams, but I don't think I'll be able to achieve them, so I'll just stay here and live kind of a simple, quiet life. And that boredom caused you to be attracted to this because it occupied your mind. And what the octopus is saying is, as soon as you like just get up and leave that town, move out, do those dreams you've wanted to accomplish, believe in yourself, you will no longer be attracted to this energy because you're not even going to have time for it. You're going to be off exploring, learning, graduating, getting promoted, all these other things, and you won't be attracted to this. That is exactly. So it's like you actually weren't meant, like this relationship, okay, wasn't meant to happen. There wasn't a contract signed before you guys came down that you guys would be together. This relationship was the result of you being extremely bored with your own life. So you sought this energy out as a means to entertain yourself. I'll get a couple more cards, just see if there's anything else Spirit wants to say, but that is exactly it. There's a card that flipped. Yep. Yeah, okay, you have, I don't think I need any more. Okay. So, we have Four of Wands, Two of Swords, and Ace of Swords. This woman has to make a decision. That's what Two of Swords is about. She has to make the decision to cut something out of her life. And finally, after sitting and pondering it, she takes that sword and she cuts it out of her life. Now, what do you need to cut out of your life? Well, this is Four of Wands. This is a very stable energy, but this is the wrong type of stability for you. This is what your parents came from, what your friends and family maybe came from, what you were born into. And it's stable, but it's stagnant. It's boring. You're not meant for this energy. Whatever this represents for you, maybe it's the line of work you went into, where you chose to live. Maybe you're still connected to your family. And the reason you've had a hard time making the decision to cut this from your life and to move forward into something new is because, well, you know, from the outside, that would sound crazy and silly, right? I mean, look how much stability is here. It's safe, it's secure, it's what you know. Why would you cut that out? Because it's not meant for you. So you guys have some big, big things you're meant to accomplish in this lifetime that when you postpone these things, it causes you boredom, and then you gravitate towards relationships like this one. Not just romantic, but even friendships. You know, even the type of TV shows and things you watch may be very dramatic. And it's because you're craving, you know, some healthy drama in your life. Healthy drama is having a new experience, trying something new, accomplishing something new. That's the healthy drama. But because it's not being expressed, it comes out in this sort of negative attraction to kind of this dark drama, okay? So comment below, let me know how this related, if the relationship was really as kind of crazy and out there as it was coming across. If you are still in this sort of heartbroken energy, okay, which is what I felt at the beginning, just know that your life is meant to be so much more exciting and intoxicating than what it is right now. The only reason this relationship feels like such a loss and something you will never overcome is because you haven't yet imagined what your life is truly meant to be. You are meant to move. You're meant to do something very different from everyone else in your life. And once you do that, you're going to feel so fulfilled, so enriched, so entertained by your own life that you won't need to get your entertainment from these sorts of relationships, okay? This was a really heavy pile. So anyways, leave me a comment down below. I love you guys so much. I'm sending you prayers and love and support, and I will see you next time, okay? Hi, pile number 4, and welcome to your reading. Go ahead and have a seat, get comfy, and get settled in so we can get started. You all chose this beautiful emerald. It doesn't look like emerald to me. When I think of emerald, I think of that kind of forest green, but this is an emerald. Let's see what this says. Who needs it? Aestheticists, my goodness, aestheticists, bohemians, epicureans, and transcendentalists. Oh my gosh, I'm getting tongue-tied with this card. Okay, the little phrase at the bottom of the card says, paint your heart toward grace. So emerald is for creatives. Interesting. So I feel like this relationship will have something to do with your own inner creativity. I'm getting like Virgo, Pisces energy from this. Okay, I want to start your reading with a couple of self-made divination tools. These are my flashcards that I use in my love readings, and then I have some sweet little love notes in this vintage pouch of my mother's. So let's get a couple of these for you guys. Okay, we have addiction, friends, and aha moments. All right. So this could have been someone that you were, maybe you've been friends with this person actually, and have only recently started to catch feelings for them. You've had this sort of aha moment where you're like, oh, I'm feeling something I haven't felt before. Am I meant to be more than friends with this person? If it's not that, then it could have to do with, I don't know, that's the only message I'm getting actually from this. The addiction, I don't think it has to do with, substance abuse addiction. I think it has more to do with kind of like a day-to-day sort of addictions, or your codependency on a person, and maybe how you can confuse codependency with love, or something like this. But let's get into the love notes and see. Oh. Okay, that's a lot. Okay, we have yes, you're funny, I like you, ooh, you're sexy, you're talented, and you're easygoing. Yeah, this feels like a friend zone kind of thing. I feel like this partner, this friend, I think it's been obvious for a long time that they want more with you than just a friendship. And I don't think you've picked up on it, or you have. I don't think you picked up on it until recently, or you have always picked up on it, but you've never felt anything back like that. So you've just been okay just keeping it as a friendship. Okay, so let's get into the tarot, and we'll expand with that. So when I chose a card from this deck, and this is a tarot deck, I said, okay, Spirit, if you had to sum up this relationship with one card, what would it be? And that's what this represents. Wow, we have the Sun. The Sun is the happiest card in the tarot deck. It represents kind of fire energy, Leo specifically, but Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. It's very happy. It's all about the inner child, creativity, kind of like the emerald is. So, yeah. This is a relationship that you've only recently caught feelings for, but there is a connection that goes back for a while. There's a friendship that goes back into this. Let's see what the other tarot cards have to say. Ooh, we have the Hierophant. So this is Taurus energy. Often Taurus's birthstones are emerald because emerald is the birthstone for May. So the Hierophant. We have Knight of Pentacles. That's more earth energy. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, either one of you could be those signs, as well as the Nine of Cups. Wow. Notice how in the Nine of Cups, see how this man is kind of doting on this woman. He has so much to offer her. He's very wealthy. He has everything. But she kind of feels, you can tell by her look that she's kind of unsure. She feels like she should accept it, right? Because he is super wealthy. He's doting. He's obsessed with her. He adores her. So why does she not feel like she's supposed to? This person is extremely serious about you. This person looks at you and thinks marriage, thinks spouse. The Hierophant card here often represents marriage because the Hierophant is the pastor. Okay, if the camera angle has changed a bit, it's because my phone just kind of shut off out of nowhere. So, okay, so what I was saying was the Hierophant, is the pastor that marries the two people. Knight of Pentacles is someone that's carefully planting seeds with intentions on the future. So it feels like you really care about this person and just haven't, it almost feels like you felt guilty for a long time because you've known that they kind of have wanted or wished for more from you, and you wish so badly that you could reciprocate that, but you just don't. But maybe you're now recently kind of developing something. Maybe you've matured through this relationship, or just matured in life and gotten a better perspective on what you want and what you don't want out of someone, and you're starting to kind of develop these feelings. I feel like my camera was a bit crooked. Okay, let's look at the astrological cards. So we have Saturn. So Saturn rules Capricorn, which is an earth sign. Pisces, that's that creative energy. You all feel more like the Pisces, Virgo sort of energy. This other person feels like this earthy sort of energy. And then we have Aries. So that could be prominent in either one of your charts as well. Okay, the last astrological card is Sun in Taurus, acquisition. And look, there's marriage here again. You guys, I strongly feel that the purpose of this relationship was for long-term happiness and commitment, a commitment that was going to bring you true joy. With this Pisces Aries energy here, which I feel like is your energy, you guys feel very creative, but also very independent. You are a very independent person. And that has been underneath the core of all this, that's been your hesitancy towards these feelings or the blocking off of these feelings. But I think what you don't realize is that this relationship is only going to bring you more creativity and more independence. You guys think it's the other. You think it's the opposite of that, possibly because this other person is so earthy and grounded. You know, this person doesn't feel super creative or kind of fiery or like you are. This person feels more like grounded and stable and kind of steady and just warm and comforting. And so I think that makes you think, oh no, I could never match with this person or be attracted to this person. When in reality, it's like an opposites attract kind of relationship where the coming together only magnifies the already great qualities in both of you. You're only going to become more fiery, more independent, more creative through this person and vice versa with them. So I see a really beautiful commitment here. Aw, look, we have the prince. That is so sweet. It says romantic charm and potential for power. I'm going to read the meaning of this card. It says, the prince is a ruler in training who serves the people he will someday lead, whether in a literal, figurative, or spiritual kingdom. Characteristics of generosity, fairness, compassion, and wisdom should be well balanced. Look for a history of preparing for leadership in one particular realm. That feels like they're your partner's energy or your friend's energy. They feel very genuine, very mature, very smart. In fact, I think that this person is going to have the stability and finances and money to help you pursue your creative pursuits at a grander level. Beautiful. Look, we have the true love card. This is the romance of a lifetime. Oh my goodness. Then we have the court, which often signifies marriage. We now have two cards here. No, we have three because we have the acquisition. This is about legal marriage, a binding contract, forever, for eternity. Oh, I love this. Ooh, you have the Marilyn Monroe card. It says, enjoy your wedding day. You only get to do that 3 or 4 times in your life. Ooh, I love that. You know, Marilyn was a woman who was very comfortable in her creative, divine femininity. And she did gravitate towards men that were more kind of either older than her or, you know, this person actually could be a bit older than you, but more stable or, you know, very kind of like manly sort of men. And to gain through them and pursue her own creative pursuits despite, you know, who her husband or spouse was. She didn't need her spouse to be creatively matched to her, you know what I mean? She was just very comfortable being her and knew that she could be fully herself regardless of any relationship she was in. In fact, if her relationships objected to that, she had no problem ending it in a time where that was really taboo. So let go of this belief that by agreeing to marriage or agreeing to a commitment with someone, that means you have to lose yourself in any way. No, you don't. You can enhance yourself. And if it ever gets to a point where you feel like you're losing yourself, then you can leave. But I don't feel like you're going to need to do that with this person. I feel like you can trust this. And it says enjoy your wedding day. So again, another card that's saying marriage, wedding. Gorgeous. Okay, for the animal you have, the frog. It says adapt and survive by accepting the inevitable and seizing potential. Yes. There is a lot of potential for you guys in this offer of this relationship. Financially, creatively, so much potential. And I feel like the feelings are only going to grow. With this card, the happiest card in the tarot deck, being the card that sums up the purpose of your relationship, the feelings are only going to grow stronger as time goes on. Okay, for your last card, this is the flower for your relationship. We have the lily. Majesty and virtue. The lily is the emblem rare of many virtues, good and rare. Beautiful. And, you know, with this white lily, it just makes me think of innocence, purity. Like there's truly no negative motives behind what this person wants. They're pure. And this is a mature energy with this Saturn here. This person is mature, capable, strong, very, yeah, open-hearted. You know, he or she is able to be vulnerable. So this relationship is really going to be about this stable person helping to uplift you and provide you with healing, to get you to be more comfortable with yourself and who you are and your own value. And you'll be able to explore that part of yourself and that healing simply because you have this very stable, mature energy grounding you in this life. And I think that this addiction card that came up here at the beginning, which I didn't feel had to do with substance abuse. We've kind of already had a pile that covered that. I think this has to do with your addiction to your own independence and this fear of losing that independence in any way, shape, or form. So Spirit just wants you to release that and recognize that even in a relationship, you can and should be your own independent person. Okay? Beautiful reading. The most uplifting one so far. The most loving one so far. Yeah, true love is definitely here for you guys with this person. So go for it if you haven't yet. And if you're already with them, then congratulations. You are on the right path. So comment below. Let me know how this reading resonated. Thank you so much again for coming. And I look forward to seeing you next time. All right. I love you. Bye. All right, pile number 5. You all chose this howlite stone. It says here that howlite is for overstimulated minimalists living in a maximalist world. And it says here at the bottom, the little phrase is organize your headspace. So you all may be Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, like strong air energy that could be causing this. But let's take a look at the rest of the reading to expand. I want to start with some self-made divination tools, my love life flashcards, as well as my love notes. So let's get a few flashcards first. All right. Oh, it's 4. Okay, we have give, heartbroken and healing, rebuild, healthy choices, and unrealistic. Okay, so this is about a huge perspective shift for sure with the howlite stone and those, a huge shift in perspective. Let's see what the love notes have to say. It says, you intimidate me. Let's have a fling. And let's be friends first. Interesting. So one of you wanted the fling, the other one just wanted to be friends first. Someone was definitely wanting to move faster than the other, it looks like. But we'll see as we get into the cards and how you're meant to rebuild and make healthy choices and give, and let's see what's going on here. But I think there's going to be a huge perspective on how you viewed your relationship with this person coming into this reading versus how you're going to view it once you exit this reading. So from this tarot deck, I asked Spirit to choose one card that would sum up the energy of this relationship and the story here. And we have 5 of Wands. 5 of Wands is a card of battling. Constant battling with 2 people who are just never going to see eye to eye. And it's like the more they battle, the more passionate they each get, and the more it continues to go on and on. It kind of reminds me, when I look at this card, I kind of think of politics, right? 2 people discussing politics. And the more that you go on, the more fired up each one of them gets, and people on the outside can clearly see looking in that they're never going to reach a resolution here, because in truth of it, neither one of them is interested in compromise or really seeing the other person's perspective. They're concerned with just getting their own perspective forced through. And so, yeah, so there's a lot of conflict in this relationship, a lot of not seeing eye to eye, and a lot of constantly feeling like the other person isn't listening to you and what you need. But it's interesting because you view them that way, but they also view you that way. So let's get into the tarot and take a deeper look. So we have the Sun card. This is the happiest card in the tarot deck. And there's some Leo energy or fire energy, Aries, Sagittarius, and Leo. And then we have, wow, you guys have all major arcana cards that came out from this deck. Not a single pile has had that. So here we have the Jupiter cards. We've got Sun and Jupiter. And this is the Wheel of Fortune, which is all about a new cycle, a new phase. And then we have the Libra card, Justice. So you guys could be Libras, which is the energy I was picking up on with that Howlite card. So it's interesting because the tarot cards from this deck all indicate a very good uplifting energy. We have the Sun. It's very happy, very passionate, very excited, very joyous. And then we have the Wheel of Fortune, which is about like a new cycle beginning, a new era of expansion for the both of you, maybe even a move or something. But you notice like this couple looks like they've been together for quite some time and they seem excited about this new cycle. And then we have the Justice card. Now the Justice card can represent the court systems. It can often talk about divorce. If it's not about that, then this is about balancing, being equal. So it's almost like there may have been a sense of, it feels like some sort of change happened, okay? Everything was great up until some sort of change, which neither of you could control. And that change started pulling you guys apart. And you guys weren't seeing eye to eye in regards to these changes in your life. And I feel like there was a big focus on, well, that's not fair. Well, but you're not being fair. No, you're the one that's not being fair. No, this is what's right. No, that's what's right. There was something, and it could have involved some sort of move. Or, yeah, it was something outside of your control, and it brought in this sort of combative energy. Let's look at the astrological cards. We have a Leo, Virgo, as well as Uranus. Okay, this Uranus is a planet that represents shock, sudden shifts, sudden change. That's what happened in your life. So it was a move, or maybe an unexpected pregnancy, or a change in jobs, or one of you wanting to make a big shift in career, or gosh, I don't know, it was something, or it could have even had to do with people in your family, like the death of a parent or the illness of a parent, something that really shifted you guys' lives in a big way, and you just didn't see things the same way anymore. And this Leo energy is very passionate, but you know, Leo on the shadow side, which I'm a Leo, so I can speak from experience, can have a hard time viewing things from the perspective of other people. Leo can very well view things from their perspective and get their perspective across and get their needs met. They have a hard time putting themselves in other people's shoes, to the point that they can make the mistake of doing positive things for others based on, well, it's like the golden rule. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you, right? That phrase actually doesn't work really in relationships. It can be misconstrued. For example, I love it when people get me gifts, okay? So maybe I'm thinking, if there's someone I care about in my life and I want to show them love, I think, well, I love getting gifts, so I'm going to get them a gift. Without actually stopping to think, okay, Addison, you love receiving gifts, but does that person like receiving gifts? Or does that person prefer maybe some quality time dedicated to them? So being able to put yourself in their shoes and figure out what they want and what they need, and recognize that it's different than what you want and need. So that can be kind of the shadow of this Leo energy. And Virgo energy. The shadow of the Virgo energy is someone who is very meticulous, highly critical. Virgo wants to scan everything and look for mistakes and point them out and criticize and critique things. So somehow it's like on purpose, okay? On purpose, Spirit shifted your lives to move you out of this happy-go-lucky, sunny sort of energy where you guys were both under the sun. You guys were both basking in this Leo energy that was very positive and fun and exciting. And it's like you guys were meant to go into this new phase of spiritual growth, which was all about balance, fairness, justice, equality. So it's almost like the universe purposefully threw some wrenches in your life because you guys were meant to go through a soul lesson of empathizing and, causing compromise. Because before, it feels like there was really nothing in your relationship that forced you guys to truly compromise or have a shift in perspective. It was whatever happened that caused this. So it's part of what you guys are meant to be learning, how to view things from the perspective of the other, how to make compromises, how to give in, how to come back together after a phase of being pulled apart. So we have a moon in Capricorn, and it says practicality. And let's get into these cards now. Okay, we have the victim. That reminds me of this Five of Wands energy. Both of you guys are feeling victimized by the other. Both of you. Let me read the meaning of this card. It says, when properly recognized, the victim alerts you when you're in danger of letting yourself be victimized, either through passivity or rash, inappropriate actions. It also helps you to see your own tendency to victimize others for personal gain. The shadow side of the victim shows you that you might like to play that role because of the positive feedback you get in the form of sympathy or pity. Everyone has this archetype. The goal is always to learn how to recognize these inappropriate attitudes in ourselves or others and to act accordingly. Wow. I think some of you that picked this pile are going through divorce right now. If you're not, do not take this as a sign that that's where you're headed. That's a message for people who were already kind of in that phase and wondering what the point of all of this was. And I think for those of you in that phase of divorce, you also recognize that the relationship was really great. What ruined it were these outside things that neither of you could control, or at least that's your view. Like, that's what messed it up. The fact that we moved, that's when it all went downhill, or the fact that we had too many kids. We had another one. Things were fine when we just had one kid, but it was that second kid. So you're like blaming the fallout on these outside things, when in reality, you guys were meant to actually overcome those outside shocks and grow the wisdom in your soul through care and understanding and empathizing for one another instead of only empathizing with yourself and what you were going through. Okay, we have romantic feelings. It says your feelings are real and worth exploring. Then we have occupation. Yeah, so I feel like one of you guys may have decided, I'm going to go back to college, I'm going to get my master's degree, or I'm going to switch jobs and go do this other thing I've always wanted to do, but maybe that's pulled them away from home. So maybe the misunderstanding or the anger is like, you're no longer at home with me, you need to quit that job and come back to being at home so we can have our family. And then the other person's like, how dare you, if you truly loved me, you'd want me to pursue my dream. So it's like you guys are both feeling equally victimized here. We have Sergei Gainsbourg. I have no clue who this is, but the message on the card is, when I leave, you shall have no kisses left. Wow. Well, that just tells me things are getting really, really ugly. I think threats are starting at this point. And I think you just want things to go back to how they were. I feel like it's your partner that is advocating for these changes or is excited about the changes, where you're viewing this as a more negative thing that's kind of destroying your romance with them. Okay, the flower for this relationship is the honeysuckle. I love honeysuckles. And it says, domestic happiness and devoted affection. The quote says, I will wind thee in my arms, so doth the woodbine, the honeysuckle, gently entwist. That's by William Shakespeare. Yeah, there's a fear here. You guys are clinging to one another's idea, like to your own ideas. And remember here, we have give, rebuild, unrealistic, as well as healthy choices. So that is telling me that, first of all, these shifts that have happened, you can't go back to how they were before, because they were meant to happen for the purpose of this growth, okay? So you are meant to give, to compromise, to stop looking to the past, and to start making some healthy choices for the future, to let go of, to stop clinging to your own idea or perspective of something that really needs to be relinquished. And once you do that, you're going to come out of this really, really successful. Keep the focus on unconditional love. And if you can start it, the other person will give in and will change. Someone has to start that process of letting the guard down, making the compromise, and giving. And I think that because Spirit brought you to this reading, they want you to be the one to start that process. Let's see what your animal card is. You have the baboon. It says, in love and declarations of passion, heartfelt communication is key. Heartfelt communication. Not this sort of communication. Not this sort of combative, critical communication. Heartfelt communication. I think it's time to really open up and to be vulnerable with this person and to approach them from a place of, look, I'm willing to compromise now. I just want to let you know what I'm feeling and what I'm going through. But I know that you feel the same way from me. I know that I've made you feel the same way. And I want this to stop, you know. Let's move towards something more balanced for the both of us, healthy for the both of us. So you're meant to kind of be the bigger person here and make that first step. And I do see that the other person will follow suit. They will follow your lead, okay? All right, I hope this reading assisted you guys in some way. Overall, the purpose of this relationship was to open up your mind, to be able to view many different perspectives at once, and to empower yourself to know how to move when you're going through something difficult, how to move out of a victimhood mentality and into a more self-empowered mentality, okay, through life's changes. So, but I do see that it is a difficult shift for you, and I don't blame you, especially coming from this beautiful card of happiness here in your past to what you're going through now. That would be very, very tough. So my thoughts and prayers are coming to you as we speak, and I look forward to seeing you guys next time, okay? Bye. Love you. All right, pile number 6. You all chose the beautiful quartz stone. Go ahead and have a seat and get comfy and settled into your reading. Let's see what the purpose of this relationship is for you and your life. So, who needs quartz? Rock hounds. Quartz intensifies the power of all the stones in your crystal collection, as well as Geminis. So perhaps you or your partner is a Gemini. It says here at the bottom of the card, enhance your vision. So we'll see how that plays into the rest of the reading as we go along. Let me move these from the last reading. So I'm going to start with some self-made divination tools, my Love Life flashcards, and my love notes here in my vintage pouch. So let's go ahead and get a few of these first. No, that's too many. This one too. Okay. So we have engagement, separation, and backstabbed. Okay, let's see what the love notes say. I love your eyes. I don't want commitment. We're so much alike. And I'm crazy about you, but we can't be together. One of you is scared of commitment. I was actually thinking of that when I read this Enhance Your Vision card. It made me think like one of you isn't viewing this relationship big enough, you know, is scared to graduate to the next level. So, okay, let's get into the tarot. So this card here is from one of my tarot decks, and I asked Spirit when I pulled these, please just select one card that will kind of sum up the whole story of this relationship. If you had to sum it up into one card, what would that be? Ooh, you guys, we have 5 of Hearts. This is immense grieving and loss. Some of you could have lost this person to death, like actually physically lost them. For others of you, it could have been to some sort of betrayal, you know, that you just haven't been able to get over or understand up to this point. And with the backstabbed card, it really makes me think like you didn't see it coming. Everything seemed fine to you. And then all of a sudden, you know, maybe there actually was talks of getting engaged. And that's where you thought the relationship was headed next, was to a proposal or an engagement. And then kind of all of a sudden, and I do think the only thing you can think of is maybe they just weren't ready, or, you know, I feel like you guys don't really have answers or closure. So let's see what the other tarot cards have to say. We have 6 of Pentacles. Aw. 5 of Pentacles. And 5 of Cups again, so twice now. Yeah, okay, so with the 6 of Pentacles and 5 of Pentacles, you all may be earth sign, so a Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo. You don't have to be, though. But I feel like this person was the first person that you were ever serious with. Like, this was truly the first person you ever closed your eyes and imagined like a future with. Like, you could see, you saw it all. You saw the kids, you saw the wedding. It was all right there in your head. Everything felt stable and good and innocent and pure. And very quickly, this 5 of Cups energy, which we have twice, really caught you off guard, was a true shock to you. And you just don't understand what the purpose of any of this is. Because in your mind, you're thinking, well, it's not like there were things for me to learn from. You know, there was no red flags. There was no toxicity in the relationship. It was just ended before I could really get to the dreams of it. The marriage, the kids, the vacations together, the buying a house. It was like you feel like there was just no point. You don't understand. Like, was the point of this just to hurt me? So let's get into the reading and see what Spirit wants you to know about this. So we have the Moon. So that's Cancer energy. So you or they could be Cancers. We have Capricorn, which is actually opposite of Cancer, which I was picking up on kind of earthy energy from you. So you could have some strong Capricorn in your chart. Wow, and then look, we have Cancer. So Cancer and Capricorn are opposites. So I feel like one of you is a Cancer, one of you is a Capricorn. Didn't have to be that way, but Cancer and Capricorn are all, you know, Cancer is about the home, you know, our family, motherhood, our roots, and then Capricorn is all about stability in the outer world. So the big house, the big car, the great careers, like the legacy, the financial stability. It's a beautiful energy and a beautiful sort of opposites attract kind of connection when it comes to Cancer and Capricorn. But it feels like one of you abandoned it. There could have been an unexpected pregnancy that sabotaged this, or a miscarriage, something. I feel like there was something that wasn't talked about, that the partner did not open up about and talk about, that he was struggling with. Okay, we have Mars in Virgo, and it says criticism. And maybe the reason the partner didn't open up and talk to you about these things is because they were worried about admitting that they weren't on the same page as you. They were worried about criticism. And I don't think you would have criticized necessarily, but it's almost like they just didn't want to let you down. They didn't want to let you down. They didn't want to let you down. And they just kept with that energy until finally it was too much for them to take. And so they just split. And then they really let you down in the biggest way possible. But they thought they could suppress themselves to prevent that. And it just became too much. Okay, we have the Visionary. And I'm going to read this one from the book. It says, lets you imagine possibilities that are beyond the scope of your individual life and that benefit all of society. That just reminds me of how you kind of envisioned this relationship, this marriage. I think you envisioned it all, with the grandchildren and great-grandchildren would be like, and maybe envisioning, you know, you guys dying next to each other. Like, you just had these beautiful images in your mind of exactly where this was going to end up that just took your breath away. It says brings into view what could be if certain choices are made, or what is inevitable given choices that have already been made. The shadow side of the visionary manifests as a willingness to sell your prophetic abilities to the highest bidder, or to alter your vision to make it more acceptable. Look for a long-term passion to see beyond obvious or momentary actions to perceive a larger pattern. To see beyond obvious or momentary. So it feels like this card is actually wanting you to put this sort of visionary energy that you have towards your own personal legacy and not towards your relationships. It feels like your visionary energy in this relationship became very overwhelming for the partner. And this partner, even though they feel kind of sensitive, or you may have described them as a very sensitive, loving sort of person, there was actually a lot that they kept in. They actually had quite a guarded heart in a lot of ways. So you had this sort of magnanimous, visionary energy about this relationship, and I don't feel that this partner was ready for that, but didn't want to admit it, didn't want to let you down. And what Spirit wants you to do is to take this visionary energy and use it towards your career instead of towards the relationships. Because, especially for men, how do I want to say this? Because I don't want to say, I feel like this visionary energy that you have can come across as very intimidating, very scary, because then the other person is thinking, oh my God, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I don't know if I would have imagined it that way, and I don't know if I can live up to all of that. That's how they see it. Even though you're like, how could this be intimidating? I'm basically complimenting this person. I'm letting them know how secure I am in our relationship. That should be a good, positive thing, that I view them capable of this, that, or the other, or I view us capable of that. But it does. This visionary energy is very overwhelming. It's positive when put towards the right force, but it can be overwhelming and intimidating in regards to a relationship. Okay, let's look at the rest of the cards. We have false person. So there may be a third party involved in this, in the sabotage of this whole thing. A third party. So like another person, so an affair, or maybe not even affair, a manipulator, someone who is doing things behind the scenes, like your partner's mom, who maybe didn't, or a partner's family who didn't quite approve of this, but didn't want to come out and say that to them. So instead they kind of did things behind the scenes. There's some form of manipulation going on here that also attributed to all of this. Okay, it says give your relationship a chance. Work on your partnership. And I'll get a clarifier for that here in just a bit. Okay, from the Love Oracles, we have Plato, and it says, love is simply the name for the desire and pursuit of the whole. Yeah, so that's bringing you back to this visionary card. Visionary energy is created through love, but love doesn't have to be boxed into just relationships. You can love your work, you can love your life, you can love yourself, and express this sort of visionary pursuit of the whole, of all your aspirations in those areas of your life too. So I feel like that was kind of the purpose of this sort of shakeup in this relationship, was to get you to kind of detach this visionary energy from your love life, or at least detach some of it from that, because it feels like you kind of put all of your eggs in this basket, and to get you to realize that this visionary energy you have, which is truly a gift. I'm talking just to those of you who chose this pile. The energy coming off of this card is a gift. This visionary energy is meant to do great, impactful things, and not everybody has it, but you do. But Spirit was worried because you were soaking all of this visionary energy into just your love life. And you were meant to use this gift of your visionary energy. This was a God-given gift that you have. And you were meant to use it in your career. In your career. So Spirit kind of intervened and thought, okay, we've got to shake up something here. We've got to shake this visionary energy off of this relationship so we can maybe close that door so that she could see this other door, this career door opened here, and maybe she'll finally connect the dots. She or he will connect the dots and attach that visionary energy there. And then once, you do that, then we can open back up the love life again. That's what it was for. So that was the purpose of this shakeup. But there is a chance that you guys are meant to come back together with this person. I will clarify that with the tarot cards after I get through these last few here. So you were the only deck pile that had 2 animal message cards come out for you. We have the crab, which is more Cancer energy. It says, show your emotions and regenerate love. Okay. And then we have the raven, which says, listen to your intuition to receive a message from the world of spirits. That reminds me of the quartz card you guys picked, which says, enhance your vision. If you guys can spend some time really connecting to your spirituality through a few moments of prayer in the evening, or if you want to do a short little guided meditation on YouTube, I think you could get, or do a tarot reading on yourself, you could get a lot of answers and insight. This crab here is making me think that even though you guys are in this sort of dark 5 of Cups energy, if you open up to this person and own up to your, I don't want to call it a fault. Your visionary energy is not a fault. But if you own up to the fact that, yes, this may have been a bit overwhelming to put all of this on you, and I'm so sorry for that. I didn't realize how overwhelming or intimidating that could be. And I thought I was trying to uplift you and encourage our relationship, but now I'm seeing things through a different perspective. And so I don't blame you for becoming fearful. And I also recognize that there was someone else involved here pulling strings behind the scenes to sabotage this. I think if you open up, this can be mended, especially now, because you recognize now that this little shakeup, whatever this 5 of Cups energy is, was meant to happen so that you could start using your visionary gift in your career. So it was meant to happen. It wasn't anything that you did or that they did. It was meant to happen for that sake. So now that you recognize it, okay, now we can mend and come back together. Let's see what your flower is. Aw, it's forget-me-nots. Eternal memories. It says the best things in life are the people you've loved, the places you've seen, and the memories you've made along the way. So for those of you who have lost a loved one to something unexpected, like a death, more time in prayer, okay? You're going to receive more answers that way. And continuing communication with this person, even on the other side, through tarot readings, through meditation, through prayer, through journaling. That's going to be important. Don't just discard this relationship because the physical body of this person is gone. Now, for others of you that are just in this moment of separation, this person is going to be willing to return because of their remembrance of the past, especially when you come to them and you're able to open up and say, look, I understand how you feel. I get it. I've been thinking about it, and I know that I did this, or that. They will be willing, and you guys can come back into union. So I do see that you guys are meant to be together ultimately. And I think that by you kind of opening up and also going after your career in a different and new way, that's going to help this as well. And you guys are just in this sort of pivot stage that was necessary for your own personal growth. But I don't see that it's forever, okay? So comment below. Let me know how this resonated. Give me a few more details. I always love starting a conversation with you guys down there. And thank you again for coming, and I will see you at the next reading. Okay, bye. Love you guys.